I built this place in case of emergency. It's a place to hide, lay low when I need to. But lately, I feel like all the answers I'm looking for are on the other side of this wall. I just gotta go find them. I know that we're not allowed in there, that the borders to the Nether are closed, especially to Seraphs, but I'm also half Netherian. So are they close to me? Or not? I was invited to attend a Knights Guild meeting. I guess it's where all the knights get together and hang out, not work, and just try to deal with the stress, I guess. Really what I found is it's a bunch of knights get together, play games, mess around, vent their grievances of their own kingdoms, spill secrets, talk a lot of shit, which I'm not really here for, but, you know, not everything is perfect, so if I have to deal with that here, then that is what it is. It's kind of cool to feel like I'm maybe part of something. At this guild meeting, we had a special guest, which happened to be Florian, the Netherian child. And apparently they were trying to play dress up with us, because they made a whole bunch of dresses. Yep, dresses. For all of us. And for the sake of kids, do you really say no, or what do you do? So, we all stood around. Florian plopped some boxes on the ground and started pulling out dresses. All of us were assigned one, and we all just took turns slapping those dresses on. It's not like the most proud thing I've ever done, but like in the grand scheme of things, compared to some of the other stuff I've done, wearing a dress is one of the less embarrassing things. We made Max go first because it was winter and he lost that one. And then Holden went. That was interesting. I think the part of all of this that surprised me the most is that a kid made all these. Like, the quality, the stitching, the design, all of it, for a kid to make, it just is crazy. This might be like the most talented kid in like fashion sense, at least, that I've ever seen. Like, just the amount of work and craftsmanship in these dresses, pretty impressive. And I will say it was fun to see everybody let loose a little bit, not be so on edge. It's weird that we had to wear dresses to achieve that, but, you know, it is what it is. Eventually, we rolled out a red carpet, because, like, we're gonna have a fashion show, we're gonna lean into that shit. Like, what's the point of doing it halfway, you know? So all of us just took our turns, going, getting fitted with our dress, coming out and showing everybody. And then we just stayed in them. Where things got the most interesting for me, and I couldn't explain to you why it happened, is when Cirrus put her dress on. Like, she's not even a knight anymore, so why is she here? But, like, kind of glad she was. But also, she just wears dresses all the time, so, like, I don't know what is so special about this one, but it did things, man. Bad things.
Those eyes
Instantly in that moment, this whole thing became 20 times more embarrassing. I don't know why, but all of a sudden I just didn't want to be in a dress, and so I was trying to get out of there. And I almost made it. Except for Princess Rayne's boy toy, Captain Aiden, scooped me up like a child and packed me back to the Circle of Knights, and I was trapped. They weren't gonna let me leave. They knew I wanted to, but I guess if I'm gonna wear a dress, I am gonna rock that shit. And I'm gonna rock it hard. Hopefully, Florian has set me up with, like, top tier dress. Seeing the rest of them, I don't know how I could possibly not get a top tier dress. So, we kept our fingers crossed. And when it was finally time for me to make my grand entrance, I did. I made it very grand. I came out in my black and gold dress, all my tattoos just out in the open, and I strutted. And it was a good time. A lot of fun. I was glad that I went this one time, and Florian did a great job on the dresses. So, big shout outs to Florian. A few days after the Knights Guild meeting, they were hosting an Elven Ball. And I had been thinking recently about Cirrus's secret illness that not a lot of people know about. And so I put together a care package and had planned to drop it off on her front door step. But when I got over there, her and Rayne and eventually Nimbus were just camping out in front of her house. And like, I waited them out. But when I tell you this was the longest wait that I have ever waited, I mean it. I must have sat on her roof for like 15 minutes. I was fully convinced we were going to be late to get to this ball just because these three can't stop talking. Like, it's wild. I've never seen people that can just sit and talk this much. Like, we got places to be. I'm trying to be discreet and drop off a secret present, and they're just lingering. Like, go somewhere. Why don't you guys go sit down? There's a meeting room, like, right under you. Just go there. Go sit there. I can sneakily get in there, drop this thing off, and nobody'd ever know I was there. But can't do that if you guys are just standing in front of the door. So I waited. And I waited. And I waited for so long. But this gift has to be dropped off. It has a drink in it that the monk used to give me when I was sick as a kid. I don't know if it'll help her, but it's gonna try. And I also found a plushie on my excursions, and I found that if you rest them on a furnace for a while, they get heated up, and they're really good for, like, managing pain stuff. So we're trying to drop that off to her. Hopefully it'll help. I don't know. I don't fully know how severe what she's dealing with is. Eventually, the Chatty Cathy Brigade did finally leave, and I was able to slide in there all super suave-like and leave a package on the porch and run, you know, like one does. Swoop in there, slap a box on the ground, and swoop on out. It's really the only way to do that, right? So before the ball, we all met up at the Waystone. Everybody had their dates and stuff, and you'll never believe it, we're talking. Like, we're just gonna be late enough to miss the whole ball at that point. But I guess everybody was waiting to meet up with their dates or their clique of people we were going with. So there we were, just huddled around the Waystone, waiting. And while we were waiting, I kept catching myself staring at Cirrus. I don't know why. If you call me out on it, I will deny it. But I was. And I think me and her had a very similar idea of going there to kind of send a message. Because of recently, we were made aware of 2 of the Elven citizens had been snooping through everything and had stolen a warden spawn egg from Princess Rayne. And so I think she wore a dress that looked an awful lot like a warden. And the mask I chose to wear, because it's a masquerade ball, was the mask I used to wear when I was working. It just so happens to be a wither skull. And our situation with the elves in the Nether and their connection to each other with how intertwined their 2 kingdoms are felt like showing up in a warden dress and a wither skull mask might send a little bit of a message that the Seraphs are done being messed with. We get that people hate us, but some of us don't care. And for the sake of the rest of the Seraphs that we were showing up with, I tucked my wings so that they wouldn't be immediately confronted for walking in with a Seraph in a wither skull. That's one way to start a ball, and it's not the way we wanted to start it, but we definitely wanted to draw some attention. While we were hanging out on the dock, people started to notice my mask, and the Elven Knights got a little jumpy about it. So, felt like it was a good start to the night. I don't know. Every book I've read tells me that these big balls like this never go the way they're supposed to. So, like, I brought everything I had with me to try to defend my people. Hopefully I don't need any of it, but it's in the pocket if I do. Making our way up to where they were holding the ball, I hung back a little bit as to not have all the other Seraphs just be guilty by association for walking in with me. So I had to keep close enough that I knew where I was going, but far enough back to not be associated. I will say, this being the first time I've been to the Elven Kingdom, it's very pretty. A lot of trees, flowers, green grass everywhere. I like it. It's peaceful. It would probably feel a lot more peaceful if we hadn't had the knowledge that they had stolen from us shortly before coming to this thing. We're quite literally walking in blind into a ball where they could use our own warden spawn egg against us. We all get inside that building, they shut the door, and somebody spawns that thing, we're all trapped in there with it. And that's a terrifying thought. But if that were to happen, I guess we would just handle it. Yeah, maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe all the books I've read are just documenting the bad ones, and they don't write about the good ones. So maybe we'll just try and relax a little and try to enjoy the festivities without causing too much trouble, you know? I guess we'll see how it goes.
Attention everyone, Princess Annabelle is about to say something. Please step forward.
There are about to be some words from the royal,
I want
so
to welcome
please move forward.
everyone here. Thank you all so much for coming. I will say that I'll go over everything that's going to happen tonight, and then I'm going to give like a little speech that I have written up for everybody. But there is food all the way in that corner. There is beer, there is honey, there is food for the winters, and then there's salad and cabbage rolls for everyone else, and then there's also pies and cakes that are placed down for winters if they have a sweet tooth, and then there's regular slices for everyone else if they want anything. Over there, there is a chest over there with paper in it. You can take a piece of paper, write your name down on it, and then put it and then throw it into the hopper all the way towards near the chests. And what that is going to do is you can throw your name in there or someone else's name if you want to be sneaky. And you can nominate people and throw them in there. And if whenever you open that chest up that's in the front, you will be given a random dance partner for the night. So that is a good way to go ahead and mingle with people who you may not have done or mingled with before. So it's completely optional. You don't have to do it, but it is highly encouraged that you do it. So that way you may be able to get to know other people you may not have before. And like I said, you can completely sabotage your friends and throw their name in there. So
sabotage, my favorite.
I will not be sabotaging my friends.
I'm thinking about it. Sabotage is my favorite.
I might.
I've already watched this idea.
I'm starting to write out a certain someone.
Remember, you're limited to beer.
And then later, what is going to happen? So the next night cycle, we are going to have fireworks in the front of the cathedral for you all to go ahead and enjoy. But yeah, other than that, I do have a little speech I have written up here for you all. So, dearly beloved guests, thank you all for coming to our event tonight. It means a lot, you showing your support for the Elven Kingdom. I know we have had a rocky past, but we, as a kingdom, have always pulled through, and I do not intend to give up now. I only strive to help the citizens of this kingdom and move us forward into the bright future I know this kingdom can have. I not only want to move forward, but also remember our past and those who we have left behind. I want to dedicate this evening to those who we have lost within the past 5 years. I know we all have suffered greatly and have lost those who we have loved dearly. Take tonight to remember them and honor them, while also meeting new people and broaden our scopes and hopefully our circles. Mingle and get to know one another a bit better, as we never know who will be lost next, as life is as unpredictable as time itself. Hold your loved ones close and hold on tight. Never forget those who we have lost. A message from me to you, our esteemed guests. Sincerely, Princess Annabelle Ardor Aelin, the budding magnolia. May this night be full of festivity and laughter.
After that, everybody kind of danced around, had some drinks, had some food. The night surprisingly went pretty well. There was a few times where I thought maybe I was going to get burned for wearing this mask, but nobody ever actually said anything. Maybe it just was my paranoia. Maybe just the stress of big crowds is getting to me again, but I don't know. I was on edge quite a bit all night. Just felt like something was going to go wrong. And like I always do, rooms get too loud, and I have to remove myself. The anxiety gets to be too much. I don't know who's in there, especially everybody wearing masks. I don't recognize anybody. So how do I know they're not there for me? Eventually, the fireworks started outside, and it was nice to be sheltered under the cloak of darkness, where the black suit and a black mask. Maybe people didn't see me. It was nice to feel like I could just blend in and not have people staring at me. The mask was a weird choice. There was a point in time during the fireworks where I was in a tree watching. I didn't realize it, but acting High Lady Karma was literally standing right under me. And when I noticed her, I didn't know how long she'd been there. And I thought that might be the beginning of the drama for the night. But even she didn't say anything. So like maybe I'm gonna get away with this whole Wither Skull thing. I kinda don't want to, but like, I do at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like, I want a message to be sent, but I don't want it to lead to anybody getting hurt. Not Seraphs, not Netherians, really not anybody else either, but mostly those two. If I can get through this night with nothing happening to either of those kingdoms, I feel like my parents would be okay with that. At some point during the ball, Princess Marina approached me and Cirrus and said she had something for us. Turns out it was like a talisman thing that helps you spawn a tail when you're in water. And I guess it matches up with the color of your soul. She said mine was special because it's all white. And I thought maybe that was due to the lack of a soul. But she told me that's not possible. So now I got more questions. Why is my tail white? After getting my tail, like the creature of habit that I am, I took to the rooftops. It's an easy place to see everybody and what everybody's doing. And for the most part, people don't look up a whole lot. So you can actually hide pretty good just by being above people. And so I had a top-down view of the ball for a good chunk of it. And realistically, the rest of the ball went pretty smooth. It was what came after the ball that still has me worried. While we were leaving the ball, turns out the elves and Nimbus arrested Kaya and Melody, who are the two that supposedly broke into Stratus and stole from us and went through everybody's everything. And so they were put into cuffs. And they led them to the throne room to empty their inventories so that they could be processed into the Elven gel. I don't think that's the best gel for them to be in, but that's not my choice. So that was what we did. When we entered the throne room, turns out the elves had an unexpected visitor. Who we thought was Amora turned out to be Thalia. And apparently she's Annabelle's mom? And apparently she's kind of a scary lady. So we had Cirrus escort the rest of the Seraphs out of here, while me and Nimbus stuck around and assessed the situation, made sure that our prisoners got where they were supposed to be going. But some of the stuff we've seen is unsettling. Like, at a point in time, this lady floated like we do. Like, she can fly around like us, but she doesn't have wings. She just does it. And I don't know what else she can do, but apparently she's a couple thousand years older than she should be. So I'm taking that as she can't die. But maybe people just haven't tried hard enough. I don't know. It makes me nervous. Something's going on here that we don't have control over. As soon as Thalia left the throne room, I headed back to Stratus to make sure that Cirrus had got everybody where they needed to be and that everybody was safe. After checking in in our throne room with everybody, determining they were all safe and could take care of each other, I decided to go back to the Elven Kingdom and find out where the rest of the knights were. I found Holden waiting on the boat outside the Waystone. He was keeping an eye on things from afar, making sure that all the elven people were okay. But after what I seen in that room, I wasn't going to leave him there by himself. Because if she decided to come by and wreak havoc, I don't know how quickly she could kill him, or just both of us if she wanted to. While we were sitting there, we seen Karma up on a rooftop, acting real squirrely. But we came to the conclusion that her knight had been taken by the fog, and her wife hadn't come out of the throne room yet. She just was worried. Rayne put out a distress call that I had to go back and answer for a second time. It started to feel like the story of the boy who cried wolf. Like, I can only come back and check on everybody so many times, and when I show up and you've got an ex-knight and the knight captain in the room, it makes me mad. Because now Holden's on a boat in the Elven Kingdom with a potential immortal person, and he's by himself. So, after that, I kind of had a little bit of a frustrated attitude, but I went back. I had to go check on Holden and make sure he was still safe. And wouldn't you know it, in the time that I was gone, the prisoners escaped. Melody and Kaya were officially on the run. I guess they bolted in some kind of strategy where Melody ran first so that Kaya could escape after everybody chased after her. I don't know. It was a long night, and after a long night, what else do you do but hang out at the tavern? I might work here now? Like, I got behind the bar and started handing out drinks, and then I started cleaning counters, and I think I work here now. So, part-time bartender Atlas, at your service. And like a lot of people, I do some pretty decent thinking while I'm in a bar. And I came to the conclusion that after hearing what everybody was saying at the Knights Guild, and Kaya being connected to the Knights Guild, that it wasn't for me. I didn't want to be a part of it. There's too many secrets, there's too much behind the scenes going on, and I don't need that. I'm trying to keep things above the table for now. So, I submitted a book saying that I resign, and if they need me, I'll be around. And then I talked to Nimbus about the events, and that I needed a stronger weapon. And he taught me how to summon a Reaper, and if you can kill the Reaper, you can control its scythe. And so that's what I did. I spawned a Reaper, I fought a Reaper, because I needed the scythe. It's stronger than my sword, and if I can't go to the Nether to get a stronger sword than the one I have, then we're gonna mix it up. Go with a new weapon. Learn a new art in combat. I actually learned a lot about how to use the scythe while fighting the Reaper. And I feel like that's a sign of a pretty good warrior. You can learn things from your enemy while also dodging their attacks and trying to land your own. Eventually, killed the Reaper. Dropped his scythe. Of course, it landed in the ocean, but perfect opportunity to test out my new tail. Hopefully this scythe will be the thing I need to defend my people. I didn't find the answers I need. Not today. But I think with enough time, those answers will start to show up. We'll get everything we need and have all the knowledge we could possibly need to find out everything I need to know about who I am and who my parents were.